I mentioned that in those days dairy was a delicacy. I mean, there was no refrigeration, no pasteurization. If it wasn't fresh, it was inedible, except for hard cheese. Except for hard cheese. Yes. But there's another reason cited in the Ramah, Ashkenazi custom, and he says the original custom is to have one meal that begins with dairy and then switches to meat. And the rule is you cannot use the same bread for milk and meat. If you had bread on a table where you had a dairy meal, you cannot use that bread together with a meat meal, and vice versa.
Is it only the bread? Like if you could cut it in half and like say.
But it depends what was on the table.
Okay.
Whatever was on the table is now designated for whatever you had it for, and you cannot have it for the other one. Says the Ramah that, because if you do this, if you have a meal that begins with milk, with dairy, and then moves on into meat, so you'll have to have two different loaves of bread. This is going to symbolize for us the sacrifice of the day back in the temple, which was the shtei halechem, the two breads, these two enormous breads that were brought to the temple. They were lifted together with the sheep. The sheep were slaughtered, and then the bread was divided among the Kohanim. So the way we sort of relive that is by eating a meal that requires two different loaves of bread.
How does that symbolize it?
Because I just did something that requires two different loaves of bread. So that takes the place of the two breads.
I was thinking you don't need lechem mishnah for both. I was thinking
you do need lechem mishnah, but we don't necessarily eat from both of them. Whereas here you're going to necessarily have to switch in the middle.
Okay. Could you do a thing where you have essentially 3 loaves of bread and you okay.
You could. But it's 2 loaves of bread that you can eat from because you have to switch the breads as one is meat and one is milk. So what is this? We're reminiscing. There used to be 2 showbreads, not showbreads. There's a 12 on Shabbat. These are the 2 for Shavuos. They were enormous. The Kohen would lift them with the goat, together with the goats, not the goats, the sheep.
Okay.
So we have to know that the sacrifices in the temple accomplish many different things. They were there, of course, in service to Hashem. It brought atonement, depending on what it was, and it also brought bounty. And there were many different aspects to the various sacrifices, and every last detail made a difference, and each one accomplished something. It seems that the collective prophetic qualities of the Jewish nation understood that there must be some kind of expression of 2 breads on Shavuos in order to bring down the bounty that Shavuos offers. So I want to begin with something very interesting. These 2 breads had to be chametz. In the Beis Hamikdash, most of the bread that was brought was matzah, some was chametz.
Were the showbreads, was that matzah?
The showbreads were not chametz.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, because then you had to bake it thick or
So they
something.
bake it. No, it was thick. It was very
Yeah.
thick. Matzah doesn't mean these, hard things that we eat. Matzah means that it was not allowed to rise. It was put, it was put right into the oven after being kneaded. It was never given an opportunity to rise. The showbreads were dense.
So, but it didn't have like the fluffiness of like a challah or.
No, it was dense.
Okay.
These were chametz. It's a very interesting thing. We spoke about Shavuos being the finale, really, of Pesach. Pesach was giving us our independence as a nation for the sake of giving us a mission in humanity. So Pesach, we couldn't have any chametz at home. Shavuos, we have chametz in the temple. That means there's a progression here. We begin by sort of separating ourselves from elaborate physicality, by eating matzah, and then we build ourselves up whereby chametz is holy, that you use in your ritual service to Hashem. That means there's a progression here, and that what we got with Kabbalah's HaTorah was a life of holiness. What we got back in Egypt was our connection with the physical world was weakened because we were tortured. What we got on Shavuos was a whole new physical world, a world where physicality was all in the service of spirituality.
Chametz represents physicality.
It's elaborate physicality. It's allowed to rise. Even more so, it's the bacteria that makes it do that.
So why isn't on Shavuos like the mitzvah to eat chametz?
The mitzvah is to bring that as a sacrifice.
Exactly.
In other words, to show that we can take that the whole idea of physicality after Shavuos is not what we run away from, but we look for the meaning. The Gemara says that on Shavuos you're supposed to have an elaborate meal. It's a celebration. But the idea that on Shavuos is the day that we actually bring into the temple chametz as a way of serving Hashem means the Jewish people went from being sort of removed from the world of physicality all the way to the point of making the world of physicality holy, which is the greatness of Shavuos. That's what we got on Shavuos. It began by us being taken out of the world of physicality, where all physicality went sour, it was all tortured. And then we were built up to the point that physicality is holy, which means that the Jew, physicality for the sake of physicality alone, has no place in the Jew's life. Physicality without meaning, we lost in Egypt. Physicality with meaning is what we got when we got to Torah. How to live, understanding a sense of purpose, how to enjoy life and more. So we need that element of two breads as a reminder that the bounty of chametz, of physicality, is what changed its whole role on Shavuos, where it became holy. And that's why what we've got to do is do something that will require us halachically to bring two breads to the table. It's changing from meat to milk. We now need another loaf of bread. Because that's the way the Jew lives. It's not food, stuff myself. It's all about halacha, it's all about Torah, it's all about I need different bread.
So why the workaround? It's like it almost sounds like it's like we're having the dairy and the meat just so we can have the two breads. Why not?
According to the law, we're celebrating, you're supposed to have an elaborate meal. But the meal should be in the form that requires two breads.
Why couldn't we just require 2 breads?
We needed a halacha should make us bring 2 breads. We're having those 2 breads to fulfill some other halacha.
Okay.
But we don't do this. Do we do this today?
Some people do, some people don't. It depends on what's practical, what their eating habits are like, when they're eating. What happens today is most people stay up all night, and then they have like a dairy kiddush. Many people wash for that first meal, which is dairy. They go to sleep. I would say a nap, but it's usually for a good couple of hours. And then they wake up and they have a meat meal.
Could I ask on the Omer? So this actually 49 days, which is 7 weeks to transition into this state.
Yeah.
And then I know we're like going through the Spirit and we're going through all this. Is there, I guess, like what should be like should we just focus every day on the different Spirit in order to like get to the place where we can?
If the Spirit speaks to you, in the Yeshivas traditionally they study the 48 ways to wisdom.
Okay. What about the first day or the last day?
Okay, but really there are 52 ways to wisdom.
Okay.
Depends how you count them.
You have to do that, don't you?
Yeah.
What are there's like 3 in one kind of like?
The question is which ones are similar enough to be done together.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to get back. We're going to get back to this. Really, this is very much, I guess, an example of the way we relate to food. We wash before a meal, we wash after a meal. And although there are all kinds of reasons for it, the Gemara says that this is alluded to in the Torah, although it's rabbinical, it's alluded to in the Torah, because the Torah says, you shall make yourselves holy and you will be holy. Says the Gemara, what does that mean? You make yourselves holy, that's washing before the meal, and you will be holy, that's washing your hands after the meal. What does washing have to do with holiness? It's explained that to the Jew, eating is a spiritual experience. You say a brach on food. You're acknowledging that the creator of heaven and earth created the food, gave man the wisdom to know how to process it. Food that looks good, smells good, tastes good, is healthy, nourishes. In truth, eating is a spiritual experience of feeling Hashem made this for me. You're supposed to feel it. You're supposed to taste your food, smell your food, look at your food, see how good it is, and feel fortunate that Creator of heaven and earth had you in mind. Eating to a Jew is a lot different than eating to the rest of the world. To us, eating is it's sublime. It's a spiritual experience. Together with the food, it tastes good too. But it's, in fact, the better it tastes, the closer you feel to the Creator who created this for you. So we find the halachas of Tfilas Kelim, remember that? When a Jew buys any eating utensils or vessels that were made or owned by a non-Jew, he has to immerse them in a mikvah before using them. Why is that? So there are Rishonim who explain that it's like a conversion. Eating utensils in the hands of a non-Jew are things that help you stuff yourself. Eating utensils in the hand of a Jew are like vessels of the temple. It's part of the sacred act of eating. It says that you're not supposed to sit on a table that you eat on, because the table's like an altar. The Jew sees eating as an act of coming close to Hashem by enjoying His food and by giving you the energy to be able to serve Him. It's a spiritual act. Eating is a spiritual act. This is something we receive on Shavuos. This is a power we receive on Shavuos. Therefore, making our meal holy in the sense that we are having a reference to the two breads that were sacrifice of the day is another way of signifying that our table is like the altar. It's a spiritual experience, and you wash before.
How do we get to the like the eating in general?
Like
I would say that every Yom Tov has an aspect of eating, but why Shavuos? Like I understand the challah and the chametz specifically, but the eating aspect, what's special about this Shavuot eating that's different than?
It's an expression. You're supposed to have an elaborate meal to express your joy over what Torah did for us. This is the day we got Torah. This is like, you can't get happier than that. You signify it with an elaborate meal.
Like, there's Simchat Torah, but then it's
Simchat Torah
dancing.
is celebrating. It's a siyum. We finished the reading of the Torah. It's the day we got the Torah.
Does it say to have an elaborate meal in other Yom Tovim?
According to the Gemara, the only one that everyone holds an elaborate meal on is Shavuos.
But
the others, I mean, we do for Pesach, we do, but the only one that the Torah really requires it for is Shavuos.
But I feel like it should be the other way around. Shouldn't on Shavuos we dance because we got the Torah, so have we dance, and then on Simchat Torah it's like a simon, and we should
have food.
Yeah.
The custom is to have food on Simchat Torah also. In fact, the custom, in the yeshivas you don't have this, but the custom back in the olden days, was in the old country, was that people would invite the entire congregation to come and celebrate with them. People would go from one home to another, celebrating with lots of food on Simchat Torah. I remember as a kid, in our community, we still had it. As a kid, I remember every year my mother complained when he came home he had no appetite to eat because he had already eaten in 6 houses.
Is it in New York?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a good problem to have. Well, and is the Pesach Sheni, is this Friday?
Yeah.
Is that anything like? Does anything happen for that?
The custom is to eat matzah.
Yeah.
The custom is to eat matzah. The idea of Pesach Sheni is we respect the fact, we remember the fact that there's always a second chance.
What is Pesach Sheni?
Pesach Sheni was people that were impure at the time of Pesach. At the time of Pesach, get a second opportunity to bring the Pesach sacrifice and eat it, and they have it with matzah and maror.
So just eat matzah. It's like a minhag?
Yeah, nothing more.
Okay.
So Shavuos we celebrate, but we celebrate with physicality because to the Jew physicality is sacred. Everything we do is within a framework of Torah or for the sake of giving ourselves the energy to serve Hashem and do mitzvahs. But it's always seen within a context of spirituality. And that's really what separates between us and the rest of humanity. Yeah. So you have to remember that, both in terms of the elaborate meal and as well as the two breads. Even if you have two separate meals, you have to have different breads. You can't use the same bread you ate in the meal before.
What if you have like less than Mishnah, but you only have one, but you have the other one on the table? You have to get like two full.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the celebration is supposed to be the day that we celebrate most, because the day we got the Torah. And again, this aspect of Torah, it's the aspect of Torah whereby Torah is what made the whole life of the Jew holy. Nothing is mundane. Nothing is secular. We don't have secular lives. Everything we do, you do business, you work. Torah has something to say about everything you do. Everything is done the way Torah wants that to happen. And it's all spiritual. There's no such thing as something that we have which is not spiritual. And that we celebrate because it was the receiving of the Torah that really gave us that opportunity.
How come it's not as well known or celebrated as every other holiday?
It's so short.
We had 49-day build-up. It's like the longest one with the build-up.
And it's like it could be connected to Pesach.
It's like 2 months until it happens.
And I mean, there's like, I guess, yeah, Hanukkah and Pesach are the two, like, maybe most known one, and Yom Kippur. But Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah are also, or Rosh Hashanah is 2 days.
You should know, we talk about Jews in general. It used to be that Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur were the most celebrated Jewish festivals because people had a conscience and they were afraid of judgment and they wanted to atone for their sins. They are no longer as popular. Pesach has become more popular. The Seder has become the most celebrated Jewish ritual. And they say that it's because people appreciate roots more than their conscience.
When did that change?
I think it's over the past 2 decades.
Really?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Do you think that's a change for the worse? Or you think it's just a change style?
Yeah. Yes,